Wishes of council?
I just want to commend Dr. Starnes for his work. He has done a tremendous job during the 6 months that he's been here. I myself have been involved, I guess you should say, in public service or politics more than anything since I was a young person. And I'm not that old. I'm only 24 years old, but let me tell you something. I've been around and I've seen the work that people can do. And I know, Dr. Starnes, that you have done a tremendous job for this city, that the people that have set these accusations out there, the people who have accused people, there have been worse things that have been out there on other individuals. And nothing upsets me more than when I see individuals in our community or individuals that are not from this community to discuss or to badmouth any form of administration or the actions of council, more than anything our CEO or our city manager. And I just thank you for the work that you've done. I don't know what the wishes of council are at this time, but personally, I think that you've done a tremendous job.
I'd like to echo those same remarks from Councilman Cantu, and I would like to say that I'm very proud to have you as our city manager. I think you have done a tremendous job for all of us. I know you're not from this community. You have been accepted by our entire community. You have chosen to make the best choices. Some choices may not be very popular, but they've been what is best for the majority of the community. And I applaud you for all your work. Thank you very much.
I thank you for that, and I feel a part of this community as well. And what really bothered me today is that my son read this article in San Antonio, and at school the other children were questioning him about it. And it takes a pretty low person to take a shot at someone's family. And I think that these accusations have to stop, and we have to move forward as a community and let the healing begin. Thank you.
Thank you. I think the council as a whole commends the work that Dr. Starnes has done for the community. I don't think that's an issue at all. With that having been said, to address this item,
Can I ask a question of legal counsel?
sure.
Can we extend his contract at this time, or what are the choices that we have in?
I would.
It's, to address your question, Councilman Casares, the action items were no action being an option, leave of absence being an option, suspension being an option, termination and/or resignation being an option. At this point, it's not an action item, so we'd have to bring it up at a future meeting.
May I ask why there was not an option for permanent placement? And may I also remind the legal counsel that there was an action item that was not acted on previously for my permanent placement, and I believe they can act on that open action item.
What item?
Previous meeting?
Which no action was taken.
The item read discussion of employment status.
Employment status, correct. It's very
And
different.
I asked for my employment status to be full-time at this time.
Okay. The employment status, the way that it's worded on here, it's not an issue, and that, as I recall from that meeting, that issue was not tabled for the future meeting. There was just no action taken at that time. The difference between employment status is employment status has a whole realm of opportunities with that kind of wording, and the other wording gives very specific.
And again, why was that wording chosen, and at whose direction was that?
That wording was chosen by legal counsel with the approval of the mayor, and it was done that way to give council the opportunity to take action.
Right, but why was I limited again from a permanent option, which had never been discussed prior to this and was not my understanding that the council was under that impression?
We had not been asked to place that on the agenda.
So you were unaware that my 6 months was coming to an end?
I was aware that your 6 months was coming to an end, but I was also under the understanding that your 6-month evaluation would take place at a later date.
Who gave you that understanding?
The mayor.
That was not an understanding that I had been given. And how can you extend a 6-month evaluation period without confirming it with the individual whose evaluation period it is? I am still asking for the council to consider putting in the record that this issue must come to rest. It is time to make a decision now.
So then may I make a move that we put this on the agenda again for next week to talk about his
Yes.
permanent employment?
I think if we may, yes, if I may make a recommendation, if we were to take no action, and then if council were to consider having a special meeting on the 15th, next Tuesday, and putting this on the agenda at that time.
If we do
What-
that,
what-
I'm sorry, if we do that, can we put an end to the investigation
Yeah,
or
yeah.
accusations? Or can we just leave that behind us and just concentrate on?
I would ask,
Evaluations.
based on the legal counsel's request for you to take that action in session, that you ask them to formally stop that investigation in session. That was at the request of the city attorney at our meeting on Friday.
Then that would,
Miss-
go ahead.
Go ahead, Councilman.
Then that would be my motion, that we go ahead and place this item on the agenda for next week, and that all investigations stop on your character, your person, your everything, that it just be left behind us.
Thank you,
And then
Councilman.
Would it be good? Let me, first, I think, okay. Can I make it? Yes, ma'am.
I think that to go ahead and move in that direction, I would move that we take no action on this executive session item. And then, of course, and I concur with Councilwoman Cáceres to go ahead and put it for a special meeting on the 15th, to the evaluation, and then all the options that we would have at that point.
I feel that
Is
that
a
is-
motion?
That is a motion.
And I second the
Have a
motion.
motion by Councilmember Flores, second by Councilmember Cáceres. Any discussion?
My only discussion.
No, go ahead. It's about the dates on the meeting.
My only discussion is, and I don't know, Ms. Longoria, if you can answer this question, or possibly Mr. Petrie, but in reference to the actual wording of the item, I know that in the last time that we had come before, and we had an issue with our prior city manager, why wasn't it worded that way also?
The difference is the type of action that the council was considering at that time as opposed to this time, is my understanding from discussing this with various members of council, that they were considering the items listed on this. Now, whether they have changed their mind since then that's a different story, but.
Can I ask what members of council indicated that?
I'll let them tell you.
'Cause
I'd
that has
rather
not been indicated to me.
Most of the conversations that I have with them are considered attorney-client privilege, and I don't want to disclose those in
I
executive
understand. One
session.
of our problems is that the city attorney's office has been protecting this council from their city manager, which I don't really feel is their role. We're all on the same side, and they have continued to protect this council from the city manager,
If we
as I
may.
have an email from one of the city attorney
Okay,
managers.
we have a motion, a second, we're in discussion. Where were we on discussion? You had a question?
In regards to that?
Did I adequately address it?
Well, I don't know if there was issues then? If there were
It
members
was
of
my
council that
understanding
were?
from meeting with different members of council late in the week, last week, that these items were being considered at that time.